Vampire bats, monster or misunderstood? Vampire bats are a staple of scary movies, haunted houses, and Halloween decorations. They're portrayed as blood-sucking creatures that morph into vampires. Are vampire bats the monsters they're made out to be, or merely misunderstood? Out of over 1,200 known species of bats, just 3 of them feed on blood. Known as vampire bats, blood is their only source of both food and water. Vampire bats don't suck blood. Their fangs don't act as straws. They pierce the victim's skin. As blood trickles out, the bat laps it up with its tongue. A substance in bats' saliva keeps the victim's blood from clotting until they have finished their meal. Vampire bats are opportune feeders, but humans are not their preferred choice. The common vampire bat preys primarily on livestock like cows, pigs, and horses, or on wild deer. Other vampire bats species seek out birds like chickens as prey. At most, they only drink about a tablespoon of blood. That's not enough blood to harm the animal, let alone drain a creature dry. Vampire bats, like other bats, aren't blind. They can see well enough to get to and from their nesting and feeding sites. Because they hunt in the dark of night, bats rely on their senses to find prey. Using echolocation, they send out high-pitched sounds, too high-pitched for humans to hear. When the sound hits a prey animal, an echo is sent back to the bat. This echo tells the bat how big the animal is, whether it's moving, and where it is. Vampire bats are cautious hunters. They don't swoop in and land on their victims. They land on the ground nearby, then crawl up to them. Their heat-seeking noses help them locate warm veins to bite into. Vampire bats commonly bite their victims in the neck, but they have been known to latch onto other parts of the body as well. A feeding lasts about 20 minutes, often while the victim is sleeping. When done, the bat flies away and the prey may never know it was attacked. Vampire bats rarely attack humans. However, if a human is bitten by a vampire bat, they could certainly survive the minimal blood loss. Anyone bitten by a vampire bat or any bat should get a rabies vaccine. Rabies is a disease that is transferred through the infected animal's saliva. Less than 1% of bats have rabies, so chances of contracting it from a bat are low. Still, it is better to be cautious and always seek medical attention if bitten or scratched by a bat. More than 2/3 of bat species eat insects. Others eat fruit, nectar, and small prey animals. If only 3 bat species are vampire bats, why is the belief that bats suck your blood so widespread? Credit the popularity of Irish author Bram Stoker's 1897 horror novel Dracula. Variations of vampire mythologies date back more than 1,000 years to ancient civilizations. In their ancient folklore, vampires were blood-drinking demons, but they had no association with bats. Bram Stoker's Count Dracula was the first vampire to be portrayed as a creature that could shapeshift into a huge bat. In reality, vampire bats are tiny. They have an 8-inch wingspan, weigh only about 2 ounces, and their body is about the size of a human thumb. Dracula is set in Transylvania, Romania, a country in Europe. Interestingly, while 29 species of bats have been found dwelling in caves around Transylvania, none of them are vampire bats. Vampire bats live solely in Mexico as well as Central and South America. The idea that they can shapeshift into supernatural vampires is pure fiction. However, bats are the only mammals with wings. Though the bodies of some bat species might resemble a rat or mouse, bats are not part of the rodent family. They have a scientific grouping all of their own called Chiroptera, which means handwing. Vampire bats are not evil monsters out to harm humans. In fact, they might play a role in human health. Researchers believe that anti-clotting substances in vampire bats' saliva could be used in medicine to reduce the risk of blood clots in humans. This substance could help in the fight against heart disease and stroke. In keeping with vampire lore, scientists have named the anticoagulant in the vampire bat's saliva Draculin.